Good morning, everyone. I'm working on the Infinity today, trying to get some stuff done. Again, we have a to-do list. It's not quite as long as last time. Actually, well, arguably, the things that are on there are more difficult, so in that way, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but basically today I'm planning on working on a few things. And I've got some tips from you guys, so thank you for your comments on the last video. Learning about security torques was a new thing for me, and I'm glad that I learned because I found more of them on the steering wheel, and that's kind of important for today's goals, so let's get into it. So I've already done a bunch of work on this car in the past hour or so. I've been working away just trying to get some of the wiring out of the way. So now that wiring was previously down here and it's up in there in preparation for this to come out, because obviously, well, we can't have any wiring attached to it, otherwise I'm going to end up breaking stuff, which I don't want to do. The battery tray is gone, and that's what it looks like underneath. We got a lot of wires in there, but instead of just kind of ripping out all the engine harness and things, I've decided to focus on the interior for now, because in order to get the AC off the way that I want to do it, these lines run into the interior, and we're going to have to take the dashboard out to get at it, to hopefully be able to take it all off in one piece. That might not be possible. I might just have to let it out, but yeah, that's not exactly environmentally friendly, so I don't really want to do that. Moving on to the interior, you'll notice that there are quite a few wires hanging about, and the plates are off in the back. That one over there is the fuel pump, and then I think this one might be a fuel level sensor or something. I've been working on trying to get the wiring out of the car. This stuff was already previously done, but I've unhooked the airbag module, and I'm just working my way, undoing every single clip until we get this free. So this whole harness right at the moment is basically free. It's just being held on, well, a couple of ties up there, and then into the trunk, where there are a few pieces that go under the car that I'm gonna have to get under the car to get, and I'll have to cut the exhaust off to get those too, probably. So I took off what I assumed to be one of the main control boards, just because, again, I'm trying to get rid of as much wiring today as possible. I feel like, well, today is a really nice day. It's only like 20 degrees or something instead of the usual 25, 26, and there's barely any humidity, so it feels great to be outside, and I'm trying to enjoy the day and get a lot done as much as I can, honestly. But this is the module that I took out from underneath the steering wheel. I don't exactly know what it is, but it does say Bosch on it. So that is now hanging out on the shelf, and there will be more of them joining it in a moment, I'm sure. Into the trunk, everything here has been disconnected, and these are the pieces that go under the car that I need to get at from underneath. I'm trying to pull the harness without cutting things, although admittedly I have cut one thing, but this was for the trunk lid, so yeah, hopefully that'll be sold today too. This is the harness on the passenger side. It's basically the same, except a lot smaller, and it goes on up into another module in there, and then there's a heater core here, which is going to be a fun one to take apart. I mean that in jest. It's not going to be fun in the slightest, but that's part of the deal. Still got a bunch of wiring up on the back there to get rid of too. And yeah, oh, so I took off some big metal pieces here. You'll notice that they're missing in the middle and the sides of the car. It's actually like some decent thick stuff that I intend to use for welding practice. So that's what this looks like here. I can just kind of scrape the paint off and use it, because this is pretty thin gauge, and then this stuff is thick, so hopefully I can actually practice with that. Something that has been great the last day is that I've been able to sell two things off the car and make a little bit of money back on the budget. So we're up $200 as of filming, and hopefully by the end of today we'll be up another $200 or $300, because I got some guy coming to check out the trunk lid, which is going to be great. But yeah, the driver's seat is gone, and the headlights are also gone, and yeah, that is it made a little bit more room in my workspace here, which is great. Another thing is I gave the guy who bought the driver's seat and the lights one of the pieces off of the mad shelf of parts, because at this point I am more keen on getting rid of that stuff than anything. Like, I at this point want to just sell the high dollar items, and anything else I'm just giving away. So if you're looking for an Infinity interior piece and you want to pay shipping, I mean, you can have it. All right. let's get back to work. Apologies for the lawnmower noise, but in this box is the harness from the passenger side. I've been having difficulty getting the driver's side off, but that's the entire passenger side harness from the front to the back, entirely removed, and I'm very happy about that. That is a big win. Well, still got some stuff to do though. The driver's side harness is mostly done. It's just there's like one connection up in there that I'm having trouble getting. It's a really tricky one. It's one of these sort of beefy plastic pieces here, and man are they a pain. And then after that I can put the entire driver's side harness in the trunk and work my way on those things back there once I'm under the car. But man, oh man, progress is being made on the wiring. Soon this car is going to be wireless. Okay, that's not entirely true because there's still an entire dash harness under there. So to explain what's going on with that, I need to take the steering wheel off in order to get the steering wheel cover piece off, and obviously the entire like dashboard over there. And then once that's off, I can take off this entire dash panel, and underneath that we'll be able to get the heater and then everything else from under there. So that's kind of the plan for today. I'm probably not going to get all that done, but I hope at least to have the wiring out, and then maybe, just maybe, I'll have the car up on some jacks and we'll start working on the exhaust again. It's been a while since I tried to cut that, and my goodness, I should probably try again. Alright, well, progress is basically halted on the interior because I'm having such a hard time getting that out. I have managed to do some other kind of random things, such as move the wiring that was down here up to here. We have power steering over here. Power steering pump is still on the engine, and I don't intend to take that off the engine, so I'm gonna have to drain this. As I have been messing with the car, more coolant's been coming out, so I'm just dropping that off. And yeah, it's jacked up at the moment, jacked up at the back. I'm taking some safety precautions. I really don't want to die underneath this car, so I'm using some ramps on both sides, jack stands on both sides, and I have my trusty wheel stud things. They're stopping it, and it's also I mean, the parking brake's on, the car's in park, so theoretically I should be okay. But I'm gonna crawl on under there and see what I can see, and hopefully today this exhaust will be at least partially off. And I want to see how difficult it's going to be to remove some of this other stuff, because I still need to take off the drive shaft and all that kind of thing. Oh man, so much work on the underside of this car, but somebody's got to do it, and it's got to happen eventually, and unfortunately that person is me. So I must admit I have a bit of a fear of working underneath the car. I don't like being under there. It's not that I'm claustrophobic, it's just that I don't want to be crushed to death by a very large automobile. However, this car has been severely lightened, and the ramps and stuff that I'm using for it are very overkill. So I should be safe. Should be. I don't know. There's always that fear in me that I'm going to get crushed, but yeah, let's do it. I have some news, some exciting news. Turns out that persistence is key, because I have managed to cut the muffler off. You can see that the hangers are a little bit wet. Basically I had to lube up the rubber pieces there to be able to get it off. I had to cut that one, so that's why it's like that. But there you go, there's a muffler from a G35 Coupe, although seemingly it's been cut off and reattached at some point, because that is gross, and somebody else did that, not me. And there's the end that I cut. I just used a Sawzall, and yeah, so much room for activities down here, and now it's a mufflerless G35. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get off the connections, and then we'll see about I don't know, maybe removing whatever that is. I'm not even sure. Man, that was interesting. It's also really, really hot out here. That was a massive pain in the butt, but I managed to get the connector out of here and the one out of here as well. And that thing appears to be something to do with the fuel, because it mentions fuel on it. Although I don't exactly know what. It's maybe a fuel filter or an emissions thing, some like fuel fumes capture thing. When I took it off, it definitely smelled like gas, but it didn't leak any gas out, so I'm guessing it's likely emissions. But anyway, I'm gonna sit here and work on this stupid thing until it comes out, and then I'm gonna take this and put it in the box over there, and then be done with it, because my goodness, oh, I want to cross wiring off the list. Oh yeah, I also started to disconnect the dash wiring over there, and I'm just trying to clean things up as much as I can. Yeah, oh yeah, the car is still up on the ramps, and my intention today is to take off the mid-pipe in the exhaust as well if I can, and I want to see what it's going to take off the drive shaft. I might get some penetrating oil today because I doubt that the exhaust bolts on the flanges are going to come off easy, so if I'll get some penetrating oil, soak them if I can't get them off today, and then we'll come back next week and just get them. Same thing with the drive shaft. I really don't want to mess around with that too much. But the end goal with the rear end is I'd like to, I don't know, I'm in a debate with myself with the rear end, because the only thing I really want off of here is the tires, because I think I could get maybe $100 or two out of them. They're decent winter tires, but like this is the main money maker right here. And same thing with the cats. So my debate internally is whether I even bother messing around with all the other stuff. With the interior, I've been stripping things down and doing this because I've been finding it interesting, but being under the car, I mean, I don't like it. I don't really want to be under there longer than I have to. And then also, if I take more from under there, like if I take the diff or if I take the, I don't know, suspension or something, then it's going to mean that I'm going to be storing it, because I don't think anybody's going to buy that unless they want a G35 rear end. And also it makes it a lot harder to get rid of this car, or at least the shell, when the time comes. So I'm gonna leave that for now once we get the exhaust and such and the drive shaft off. The drive shaft I'm only taking off really to take this. Other than that, it'll probably go with the scrap. Man, oh man, though. In terms of things I do want to take that are still left over, obviously the entire dashboard has got to go. Most of the stuff over there I think is actually good. But I would like to grab the front brakes because they're not too bad, and I wouldn't mind switching them with my sedan. And then all of this. All of this. Alright, back to work. Well, it has been basically all day, and I'm here at the end of it to say that, my goodness, I have gotten a lot done. That is the entire wiring harness cleaned up from the inside. I still need to go out tonight and get the bits that I'm missing, those security Torx bits. Those will be good, and then I think I can use them in other places. And I'm probably not going to get to ripping out the whole dash until next week, but man, oh man, that's some progress and a half there. I have some good news as well. Somebody came and they put in an offer on the trunk lid, and I have accepted that. So our total earnings for this weekend alone, if you include Friday, is up to $450 back on the budget, which is sweet. I'm so happy about that. It makes me really happy to know that things are selling, stuff is getting done, and now I can post the muffler up online and see if anybody wants that for cheap, because I want that gone too. Those weigh a surprising amount. It is heavy as heck. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to comment about things. I really like reading the comments on this second channel. A little bit easier to do so. It's a much smaller channel. But yeah, check you guys again next time.